3 times more effective than any blood pressure medication? This ex-life insurance agent discovered a bizarre Costa Rican blood flow ritual that forces your blood pressure down to a perfect 120/80 and activates an automatic fat-burning mode in your body 24/7, even while you sleep.
According to the American Heart Association, it triggers a whopping 512% surge in blood vessel repair proteins, compared to just 40% from traditional methods like cutting salt, exercise, meditation, and pricey medications combined.
That's because unlike those solutions that only mask symptoms, this ancient ritual targets a dangerous amino acid that's silently destroying your arteries and making it impossible to lose weight.
Yeah, groundbreaking research from Harvard, Stanford, and 127 elite universities reveals a hidden toxic amino acid quietly destroying your arteries. This Costa Rican ritual is the only solution that flushes this deadly compound from your bloodstream, attacking the true root cause that your doctor never mentioned.
And after helping over 96,000 people normalize their blood pressure and shed dangerous fat last year, this breakthrough discovery is proving to be even superior to leading prescription medications.
Even Dr. Oz recently confirmed this ritual is extremely effective for both blood pressure and weight loss.
So, it's no surprise this is turning the pharmaceutical industry upside down.
Yeah, Big Pharma is getting desperate with blood pressure drug sales dropping month after month, and this is happening because this ritual is going viral faster and faster.
A shocking 3,849 medical professionals, including top cardiologists, are now privately recommending this ritual to their most desperate patients.
My blood pressure has already gone from 173/121 to 137/92. Not only that, but I've also lost an incredible 17 pounds.
I've lost 21 pounds, and my blood pressure is normal for the first time in decades.
My blood pressure is down from a high of 178/122 to a healthy normal 118/78. I've also lost 28 pounds without changing my diet one bit.
And the best part is, you don't need any prescriptions. There's no need to give up your favorite foods.
No salt restriction, no exercise, nothing. Your only job is to do this blood flow ritual for 30 seconds right when you wake up in the morning, and that's plenty of time for the powerful compounds to start clearing out that dangerous amino acid, making your body normalize blood pressure and melt away all that fat from your belly, thighs, neck, and even under the arms.
It doesn't matter if everything you've tried till now has failed.
The fact is, this blood flow ritual tends to work even faster on people who've previously tried to fix their high blood pressure.
Yeah, at least that's what all the research suggests.
And that's why on today's Health Uncovered, our team has invited the man who uncovered this blood pressure miracle, John Hall, a former life insurance agent who witnessed firsthand how this Costa Rican ritual saved his wife's life and has since helped over 96,000 Americans transform their health.
He's here to explain why taking more medications is the worst advice if you want to lower your blood pressure.
That's the number one reason blood pressure drugs and lifestyle changes don't work. What's the real cause of high blood pressure?
You'll be surprised to discover it has nothing to do with salt, stress, genetics, age, diet, exercise habits, or even your heart.
In fact, the dangerous amino acid we mentioned earlier is silently destroying your arteries, forcing your blood pressure higher and higher while making it impossible to lose weight.
We're also fortunate to have Dr. Marcus Alvarez joining us today via satellite from Costa Rica. He's the scientist whose research identified this amino acid as the root cause of high blood pressure.
Dr. Alvarez is a revolutionary figure in heart health science. With dual doctorates from Johns Hopkins and MIT, plus his groundbreaking work as Director of Vascular Research at the Cleveland Clinic, his findings challenge the entire pharmaceutical industry's approach to blood pressure.
Yeah, since publishing his controversial findings, he's been working from a remote village in the Nicoya Peninsula, continuing his research away from industry pressure. The internet connection there is quite unstable, so he'll only be with us briefly, but he's made time to explain the science behind this blood pressure solution that's helping thousands of Americans. We'll also show you the surprising reason why these Costa Ricans maintain perfect blood pressure well into their 90s, and how to use this blood flow ritual at home this week to flush out this dangerous amino acid from your arteries and start seeing your numbers drop to a perfect 120/80 in the coming days.
And Watch stubborn fat melt away without changing your diet or lifestyle.
So please stay with us for the next few minutes because the ritual you're about to discover could save your life, just like it did for thousands of Americans who were once prisoners of their own bodies.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike Thompson.
And I'm Sarah Parker.
And you're listening to Health Uncovered, the podcast that brings you breakthrough health discoveries they don't want you to know about.
Today's episode is different from anything we've ever done before. We're going to share something that's turned the medical community upside down.
A discovery so powerful that pharmaceutical companies are desperately trying to suppress it.
And let me guess, that's because it threatens their $131 billion blood pressure drug empire.
Sarah, you won't believe this, but Harvard researchers recently uncovered something shocking about people suffering from high blood pressure.
And what did they find, Mike?
Their blood was filled with a toxic amino acid that was literally forcing their blood pressure higher and higher.
And get this, the same amino acid was making it impossible for them to lose weight.
But here's where it gets interesting. There's a small peninsula in Costa Rica where heart disease is virtually non-existent.
And check this out, where 90-year-olds have perfect blood pressure.
And obesity is virtually unheard of. Our guest today uncovered their secret, a simple blood flow ritual that's helping thousands of Americans drop their blood pressure from dangerous highs like 180 over 120 all the way down to a perfect 120 over 80.
While melting away 30, 40, even 50 pounds of stubborn fat.
Without giving up their favorite foods.
Without brutal exercise.
And without dangerous medications.
Before we bring on our guest, Mike, let me share some shocking statistics from the American Heart Association.
Oh, nice. The latest numbers?
Oh, yep, hot off the press. A groundbreaking meta-analysis just published in the New England Journal of Medicine looked at 47,000 patients.
And what did they find, Sarah?
96% of people taking blood pressure medications still had elevated homocysteine levels.
Okay, so for our listeners who might not be familiar with medical research, can you explain what homocysteine is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a dangerous amino acid that circulates in everyone's bloodstream. When levels get too high, it physically damages and scars your artery walls, creating rough patches that trap cholesterol and trigger dangerous inflammation.
And you mentioned that alarming stat was published in a meta-analysis. What's that exactly?
Yeah, it's basically a study of studies, the gold standard of medical research. And this one was conducted across 13 major universities, including Harvard, Stanford, and Johns Hopkins.
And they all found the same exact thing about this amino acid?
Every single one, believe it or not. But here's what's really interesting. When they tested people from this Costa Rican peninsula, their homocysteine levels were below 7.
And what's normal?
Anything above 10 is considered dangerous. Most Americans with high blood pressure have levels between 30 and 50, and some as high as 70.
But wait, aren't these people taking blood pressure medications?
Totally. That's the shocking part. Even people taking multiple blood pressure medications still had dangerously high homocysteine levels.
How is that possible?
Because these medications are just masking the problem. They force your blood vessels to just relax or remove excess water from your blood, but they do nothing to address the real issue, the dangerous homocysteine buildup.
So people might think their blood pressure is under control.
Exactly, but it's just a temporary fix. The underlying damage continues. That's why so many people need stronger and stronger medications as time goes on. Their doctors just keep increasing the dosage, adding new prescriptions.
Well, the real problem just gets worse.
Boy, these numbers are staggering.
And joining us today is the man who uncovered this Costa Rican blood pressure secret, John Hall.
Now, John isn't a doctor or a scientist. He's actually a life insurance salesman from Dayton, Ohio.
But what he discovered has left medical experts speechless. So it's with great pleasure today that we welcome John.
Nice to meet you. John, welcome to Health Uncovered.
Thanks for having me, Mike and Sarah. Though I have to admit, being here today is, well, bittersweet.
Why's that, John?
Well, because the only reason I'm here, the only reason I discovered this blood pressure secret is because I almost lost my wife.
You're talking about what happened to Janice, right?
Yes. You know, for years, I sold life insurance. I'd look at the statistics every day. High blood pressure makes you 60% more likely to have a heart attack, 80% more likely to develop heart disease.
But those were just numbers to you back then.
Exactly, Mike. Just statistics on a page. Until that horrible day when my granddaughter called 911.
You tell our listeners what happened.
My wife Janice was taking our 5-year-old granddaughter, Sophia, to the zoo. They were stopped at a red light just minutes from our house when Janice suddenly clutched her chest, gasping for air, and slumped over the steering wheel.
Oh my gosh.
Little Sophia, she was trapped in the back seat, watching her grandmother die. She kept sobbing, "Grandma, please wake up. Please don't leave me." The fear in that child's voice, I still hear it in my nightmares.
I can't even imagine how terrifying that must have been.
Thank God a good Samaritan saw what was happening and called for help. But by the time I got to the hospital, the doctor said Janice had suffered a massive heart attack. They weren't sure she was going to make it.
But this wasn't completely out of the blue, was it, John? Janice had been struggling with her blood pressure for years, right?
That's right, Mike. For years, Janice had been battling terrifying blood pressure readings. Her numbers were consistently between 178 over 123 and 194 over 129. Her doctor measured it 3 times on her last visit because he couldn't believe it was so high. He told her point blank, "You're in immediate stroke territory. I'm surprised you're still standing."
And she'd tried everything to get it under control?
Everything humanly possible. All the usual advice. Cut out salt, exercise more, lose weight. She was taking 3 different blood pressure medications, but nothing seemed to work.
Gosh, well, what was that like for you both?
Oh, pure terror. And the worst part, that constant gnawing fear. Every headache might be a stroke. Every chest pain could be the heart attack that takes her away from me. Each night, I'd lie awake watching her breathe, terrified I might wake up next to a corpse.
And the medications came with their own problems, didn't they?
Oh, the side effects were horrible. Constant dizziness, fatigue. Some days she could barely get out of bed. And the worst part, her blood pressure kept climbing anyway.
Well, for our listeners who might not know, what is considered normal blood pressure?
The doctors want to see 120 over 80. Janice's numbers were so high, her doctor said she was like a ticking time bomb.
And all of this affected her weight too, right?
Oh, exactly. It was like her body was working against her. The more medications she took, the more weight she gained, especially around her belly. She tried every diet you can imagine.
But nothing worked.
Nothing. And you know what the doctors kept saying? Just eat less, exercise more. Like we hadn't thought of that. I mean, meanwhile, Janice could barely walk up a flight of stairs without getting winded.
So there you were, in the hospital, your wife fighting for her life.
Yeah, and that's when something incredible happened. Something that would change everything we thought we knew about blood pressure.
Oh, you're talking about meeting Dr. Jack?
Actually, it was my daughter Emma who met him first. She was crying in the hospital hallway after another useless meeting with Janice's doctors.
And Dr. Jack overheard.
Yes, but here's what's fascinating. He mentioned his mentor, Dr. Marcus Alvarez, who'd been researching blood pressure for decades. But get this, Dr. Alvarez had been forced to flee to Costa Rica.
Forced to flee? Why?
Because he'd discovered something that threatened the entire pharmaceutical industry. His research showed that homocysteine, this dangerous amino acid we talked about earlier, is the real reason behind high blood pressure, not salt or genetics like we've all been told.
Wait, John, before you dive deeper into the homocysteine connection, what happened next with Dr. Jack?
Well, he could see how desperate we were. He offered to reach out to Dr. Alvarez in Costa Rica.
Did he?
Yes, but that's where things got strange. Dr. Alvarez wouldn't discuss anything over the phone, said the pharmaceutical companies were watching him too closely.
That sounds paranoid.
That's exactly what I thought at first. But then Dr. Jack explained that Dr. Alvarez was facing multiple lawsuits from big drug companies. They were trying to silence him.
So what did you do?
Well, Janice survived, but she was a shell of her former self. This vibrant, loving woman who used to dance around our kitchen was now shuffling from couch to bathroom, constantly exhausted, constantly afraid. I remember one night finding her staring at photos of our grandchildren, crying silently.
What was wrong?
She looked up at me and whispered, "I'm not going to live to see them grow up, am I?" That's when I realized high blood pressure wasn't just taking her health, it was stealing her hope, her future, her joy. She was a prisoner in her own body.
That must have been devastating.
When Dr. Alvarez offered us a chance to visit him in Costa Rica, I didn't even hesitate. I withdrew $4,800 from our emergency savings and booked the next available flight. 3 days later, I was on my way to the remote Nicoya Peninsula. I wasn't just looking for a medical solution. I was desperately trying to save the woman I've loved for 43 years from a living death. Nothing was going to stop me.
And that's when you learned about this mysterious amino acid?
100%. This actually might be the right time to share something powerful with your listeners.
Well, you've sent us quite an interesting demonstration.
Yes, what I'm about to share perfectly demonstrates what's happening inside millions of Americans right now.
Okay, so John's showing us two identical pressure cookers.
They look exactly the same to me, though.
That's the terrifying part. From the outside, they appear identical, but one of these is seconds away from exploding while the other is in perfect balance. Just like how two people can look healthy but have completely different blood pressure situations.
Just like how some people's blood pressure looks fine on the outside.
And that's what's fascinating. The dangerous difference between these cookers perfectly mirrors why some people, like those Costa Ricans we talked about, maintain perfect 120/80 blood pressure into their 90s, while others are literally one heartbeat away from disaster.
Let me guess. It's about the seals, the valves?
That's what everyone thinks, but no. Just like with blood pressure, it has nothing to do with the obvious suspects. Not the seals, valves, or even the pressure gauge.
So what is it?
It all comes down to something Harvard scientists discovered, a toxic buildup that acts like a ticking time bomb in your arteries. Just like in this cooker, the homocysteine creates microscopic rough patches along your arterial walls, forcing pressure to build higher and higher. And when we reduce that buildup with the blood flow ritual, your pressure naturally returns to normal, just like this cooker here.
And this buildup is why one cooker stays balanced while the other is about to blow?
Precisely. And it's the exact same reason why those Costa Ricans effortlessly maintain perfect blood pressure without medications, while Americans keep popping more and more pills, hoping to prevent disaster.
This toxic buildup, you're talking about homocysteine again, aren't you?
Exactly. What you're seeing in this pressure cooker perfectly demonstrates how homocysteine creates that dangerous pressure in our arteries. And in just a moment, I'll share how a strange blue zone tea ritual these Costa Ricans use neutralizes this deadly buildup in minutes, restoring perfect pressure while melting away pounds of dangerous fat.
Okay, so going back to your visit, walk us through what happened with Dr. Alvarez.
Sure. Before we left, he told Jack to do additional blood tests for Janice. So he pulled them up on his lab computer. Her homocysteine level was 54, more than 5 times what's considered safe. He said, "This isn't just high blood pressure, John. Your wife's arteries are being sliced from the inside with every heartbeat."
And her doctors never tested for this?
Not once. Not a single doctor ever mentioned homocysteine. They just kept prescribing more medications that do absolutely nothing to address the real problem.
It's shocking how many Americans are in the same situation right now.
Millions. Harvard researchers found that 96% of people with high blood pressure have dangerous homocysteine levels, and most have no idea it's silently destroying their arteries while their medications just mask the symptoms.
Well, and speaking of Dr. Alvarez, we're incredibly fortunate to have the medical maverick himself joining us right now via satellite from Costa Rica. Dr. Alvarez is a true pioneer in cardiovascular research, with over 147 peer-reviewed publications and the prestigious Carrington Award for Cardiovascular Breakthroughs. Dr. Alvarez's research at Cleveland Clinic was rewriting medical textbooks until pharmaceutical companies felt the threat to their $131 billion blood pressure drug empire.
His groundbreaking discoveries about natural blood pressure remedies made him a target of pharmaceutical industry lawsuits, forcing him to continue his research from the Nicoya Peninsula.
Dr. Alvarez, thank you for making time to join us today. The connection is a bit unstable from your remote location, so we truly appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I apologize for the unstable connection. We're in the middle of the rainy season here in Costa Rica, and our satellite signal has been cutting in and out all morning, so I'll need to be brief. These mountain storms tend to knock out our communications without any warning. I want to make the most of whatever time we have to share the critical information your listeners need to know. There's simply too much at stake for people's health.
Dr. Alvarez, it's an absolute honor to have you on the show. But before we dive into our thrilling interview, I've got to share something with our audience. Folks, our team discovered something truly remarkable while doing our background research. Dr. Alvarez is actually 75 years young. I mean, just look at him. He could easily pass for someone in his early 50s. That, my friends, is living proof of the incredible power of the blood flow ritual. The results, as you can plainly see, speak for themselves.
Well, thank you for the kind words, Sarah. I must admit, I wasn't expecting this kind of introduction. I was preparing for a much more technical start to our conversation. But it's quite humbling, really. I hear this comment about my appearance so often that I finally decided to put it to the test. Last year, I submitted blood and tissue samples to the International Longevity Institute in Switzerland. They're the gold standard for cellular age testing. The results shocked even me. While my chronological age is 75, my biological age, that's how old my cells and organs actually are, came back as just 51 years. That's nearly a quarter-century difference. The head researcher called it unprecedented in medical literature. They even had 3 separate labs verify the findings because they couldn't believe the results. And I'm not the only one. We've documented similar cellular rejuvenation in villagers who performed the blood flow ritual for decades.
That is absolutely mind-blowing, Dr. Alvarez. A 24-year difference between your real age and biological age? Okay, I think we need to get to the bottom of how this works. So, Dr. Alvarez, John showed us how this dangerous amino acid affects our blood vessels. But coming from you, as the world's leading expert on homocysteine, what exactly makes this substance so deadly?
Imagine taking a handful of razor blades and tossing them into your home's water pipes. That's exactly what this toxic amino acid does inside your arteries. Every single American over 40 has homocysteine building up in their bloodstream right now, silently slicing and scarring your blood vessels with every heartbeat.
Ugh, that's terrifying.
It should terrify you. When I first discovered this at Cleveland Clinic, I was stunned to find that 91% of heart attack and stroke victims had dangerously high homocysteine levels. Yet blood pressure medications do absolutely nothing to remove these razor blades from your system. They simply mask the symptom while the damage continues.
You mentioned that medications don't address this problem. So millions of Americans think they're protected just because their numbers look better on paper?
That's the deadly deception happening right now. Harvard researchers confirmed that my team discovered a blood pressure reading of 120/80 while taking medication is nothing like a natural 120/80. Under the surface, those razor blades keep circulating, keep cutting, keep causing damage.
So even people who think their blood pressure is under control with medication are still at risk?
At tremendous risk. Our imaging studies show that even with controlled blood pressure readings, homocysteine continues to create micro tears in the arterial walls. After just 14 months, these patients had 43% more arterial scarring than when they started medication. They're literally one heartbeat away from disaster while believing they're protected.
What about the connection to weight gain? Is homocysteine why so many people with high blood pressure struggle with stubborn belly fat?
We've discovered something shocking about homocysteine that explains why millions of Americans can't lose weight no matter how little they eat. When homocysteine levels rise, it triggers a hormonal fat storage panic mode in your body.
Fat storage panic mode?
Exactly. Our clinical imaging showed that people with high homocysteine store a staggering 62% more fat from the exact same meal compared to people with normal levels. This explains why a 70-year-old Costa Rican who eats rice, beans, and tropical fruits daily stays slim, while an American dieting and exercising constantly can't lose a pound.
That's exactly what happened to Janice. 3 different dietitians accused her of secretly binge eating because they couldn't explain why she gained weight on a 1,200-calorie diet.
Janice certainly wasn't cheating. Her body was in a homocysteine-triggered fat storage panic mode, literally converting everything she ate into dangerous belly fat. No amount of willpower can overcome this biochemical sabotage.
So, when did you discover the solution to this homocysteine problem?
Well, my research team noticed something extraordinary happening in a small Costa Rican peninsula. we found 94-year-old farmers with perfect 118/76 blood pressure who had never taken medication in their lives. I studied 163 villagers over age 90, and incredibly, their average blood pressure was 119/77, better than most American 30-year-olds. Even more shocking, their homocysteine levels were virtually non-existent.
What was their secret?
My team observed that every morning within 30 minutes of waking, these villagers perform what we now call the blood flow ritual. When we analyzed the compounds that we're consuming, we found a precise combination of botanicals that literally sweep homocysteine from the bloodstream, like a specialized cleaning crew. These villagers didn't know the science behind it, of course. They were simply following traditional wisdom passed down through generations, but the results were undeniable.
And when I visited that village with Dr. Alvarez, I met a 103-year-old man who outpaced me climbing up a steep hill. I was wheezing while he wasn't even breathing hard. It was humbling and eye-opening.
Dr. Alvarez, how quickly does it work?
Well, our clinical trials documented something remarkable. Within just 72 hours, participants showed measurable drops in homocysteine. By day 7, blood pressure readings fell an average of 17 points. And by day 14, even our most skeptical researchers were shocked as participants began losing significant weight without changing their diet.
Yeah, I can confirm this timeline exactly matched what happened with Janice. When I brought this ritual back to her, she was at her lowest point, still shuffling around the house, still with that dangerous 182/127 blood pressure. The first morning she tried it, she looked at me like I was crazy. Tea? This is your miracle cure?
Well, what happened next?
Her first measurable blood pressure drop happened on day 3, just as Dr. Alvarez described. Then on day 10, I woke up to the smell of pancakes. For the first time in years, Janice was in the kitchen cooking breakfast, humming to herself. That afternoon, her blood pressure had dropped to 145/90.
Wow, that's remarkable.
By day 30, she was down to 135/85. And something magical happened. Our granddaughter Emma came over, and instead of watching TV together, Janice suggested they go to the park. Watching my wife push Emma on the swings, hearing their laughter, that's when I knew we'd gotten our Janice back.
And what about weight loss?
15 pounds melted away that first month without even trying. But the real transformation wasn't even on the scale. It was seeing the sparkle return to her eyes. It was hearing her talk about future plans again instead of funeral arrangements. By month 2, her blood pressure was a perfect 120/78. She'd lost 57 pounds total without changing a single thing about her diet. Her doctor couldn't believe it.
The ritual creates 2 biological miracles simultaneously. First, it sweeps homocysteine from your bloodstream, allowing your arteries to finally heal. Second, it deactivates the fat storage panic mode that we mentioned earlier, which has been making weight loss impossible.
So it's literally addressing both problems at once.
Precisely. This is why people report feeling so different so quickly. Their bodies are finally working with them instead of against them.
That's remarkable. These are effects you simply don't see with conventional treatments, correct?
Exactly. The pharmaceutical approach is fundamentally flawed. It treats high blood pressure as if it's the disease when, in reality, it's just a symptom of elevated homocysteine. It's like putting a bandage on a splinter without removing the splinter first.
When you visited Nicoya, you showed me something I'll never forget, those before and after artery scans. Could you share that with our listeners?
Yes, that was remarkable evidence. We took ultrasound images of arteries before and after using the blood flow ritual. After just 18 days, we documented something medical textbooks claim is impossible: actual healing and regeneration of damaged arterial tissue.
That's incredible. And these results happen while people are still eating normal foods?
That's what makes the Nicoya Peninsula such a scientific anomaly. These centenarians eat rice, beans, tropical fruits, even fried foods, a diet that would send most Americans to the emergency room, yet their arteries remain clean and flexible into their 90s and beyond.
I witnessed this firsthand. I shared meals with these villagers. They weren't eating health food by American standards, but their blood work showed almost no homocysteine.
This is exactly why I risked my career to bring this discovery to light. The solution to America's blood pressure epidemic isn't more drugs. It's addressing the actual cause.
So the blood flow ritual is what makes these Costa Ricans so healthy while eating whatever they want?
Our analysis confirms it beyond any doubt. We examined every aspect of their lives: diet, their environment, genetics, activity levels. The only consistent factor was this simple morning ritual.
And you were able to identify the exact compounds that make it work?
Yeah, but not just identify them. We've isolated and enhanced them. When we tested the optimized formula in our lab, homocysteine levels plummeted by 47% in just 14 days.
And what other benefits did you observe beyond blood pressure and weight loss?
Well, the comprehensive health transformation stunned even our most experienced researchers. Participants reported sleeping better than they had in decades, joint pain vanished, mental fog lifted. Many said they felt 15 years younger within weeks.
Well, Dr. Alvarez, we've heard rumors about pharmaceutical companies trying to suppress this discovery. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I'd prefer to focus on the science, but people need to understand why this information has been hidden. Shortly after publishing our initial findings, the vice president of research from one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies invited me to their headquarters.
What happened?
Well, they offered me $8.7 million in cash to halt my research and transfer all intellectual property rights to them. When I refused, explaining that the discovery needed to reach the public, their demeanor changed instantly.
In what way?
Well, within weeks, we faced 3 separate lawsuits. Our university funding was frozen. Research partners were pressured to distance themselves from us. I even received concerning phone calls in the middle of the night.
I've seen the actual cease and desist letters and lawsuit documents. They're frighteningly aggressive.
The global blood pressure medication market is worth $131 billion annually. A natural solution that actually addresses the root cause represents an existential threat to that business model. That's why I relocated to Costa Rica, to continue this research without interference.
It's hard to believe that medical information could be suppressed like this.
Americans deserve to know the truth. High blood pressure and stubborn weight gain aren't inevitable consequences of aging. They're direct results of elevated homocysteine, a condition that can be addressed naturally without dangerous medications or radical lifestyle changes.
Let's circle back to conventional treatments for a moment. Has anyone ever directly compared your blood flow ritual against pharmaceutical medications in a controlled clinical study? Like the kind of head-to-head comparison that would definitively show which approach is superior?
Well, I'll share something I've never revealed publicly before. My team conducted a direct head-to-head clinical trial comparing this ritual against the top 3 blood pressure medications on the market today. And critically, we had an entire protocol and results independently verified by Stanford's Cardiovascular Medicine Research Laboratory. It's one of the most respected third-party testing authorities in the world.
A direct comparison? That's bold.
Yeah, we had 237 participants with dangerous blood pressure levels between 160/95 and 195/115. We divided them into 3 groups. One taking the most prescribed medication, one taking a combination of 3 medications, as many patients do, and one group performing only the blood flow ritual each morning.
And the results?
After just 90 days, the 2 medication groups saw an average drop of only 12.7 points systolic and 7.3 diastolic. Typical results doctors expect from pharmaceuticals, but the ritual group, their blood pressure plummeted by an average of 37.4 points systolic and 19.8 diastolic.
That's more than double the improvement.
But here's what truly shocked our medical review board. When participants stopped their treatments after 90 days, the medication group saw their blood pressure rocket back to dangerous levels within 1 week.
And the ritual group?
This is where it gets remarkable. 84% of the ritual group maintained healthy readings around 124/82 for a full 30 days after stopping the ritual. This confirms what we suspected. The ritual doesn't just mask symptoms like medications do. It actually heals and restores proper arterial function by removing the underlying cause.
Well, those results are astounding.
More astounding was that the ritual group lost an average of 27 pounds during the study without making any dietary changes whatsoever. The medication groups actually gained weight, which is a common and frustrating side effect.
What about side effects? Blood pressure medications are notorious for them.
Well, this is where the contrast becomes truly stark. In the medication groups, a disturbing 62% of participants reported significant side effects. And these weren't minor inconveniences. We documented chronic dizziness, debilitating fatigue, erectile dysfunction, and even dangerous kidney function abnormalities.
But God, that sounds awful.
11 participants had to withdraw completely because the side effects became intolerable. Meanwhile, the ritual group reported 0 negative side effects, not a single one.
Instead, they experienced what my wife calls side benefits.
Exactly. We documented improved energy, better sleep, enhanced mental clarity, and reduced joint pain across the ritual group. But the most visible transformation was the weight loss.
how significant was the weight loss?
Without changing their diets at all, the ritual group lost an average of 27 pounds in 90 days. Our top responder, a 67-year-old grandmother named Margaret, lost an incredible 43 pounds while continuing to eat her favorite foods.
That's remarkable. Where did most of the weight come from?
Well, our MRI scans revealed something extraordinary. Participants lost primarily dangerous visceral fat surrounding their internal organs, what cardiologists call heart attack fat. This deadly fat decreased by precisely 31.7% on average.
Janice's transformation followed this exact pattern. She lost 57 pounds, mostly from her midsection, while actually eating more than before.
Once homocysteine is removed from the bloodstream, the body's natural fat-burning mechanisms reactivate. It's like finally removing the emergency brake that's been preventing weight loss for decades.
I have to ask, does this work for everyone? It almost sounds too good to be true.
Well, that's a fair question. In our clinical studies, we saw an effectiveness rate of 93.6%. The small percentage who didn't see dramatic improvements were primarily individuals with advanced kidney disease or those taking specific immunosuppressant drugs.
So for most people,
For the overwhelming majority, the results were life-changing regardless of age, gender, genetics, or how long they'd struggled with high blood pressure. We saw 85-year-olds respond just as well as 45-year-olds. I apologize, this tropical storm is intensifying. I may lose connection at any moment.
Before we lose you, can you explain why Americans have had such high homocysteine levels to begin with?
Three critical factors are creating the perfect storm in American bodies. First, our modern food supply has been systematically stripped of the specific nutrients that naturally neutralize homocysteine. These compounds were abundant in our ancestors' diets, but they've been processed out of today's foods. Second, we're exposed to over 80,000 environmental chemicals that didn't exist a century ago. Many of these toxins directly trigger homocysteine production in your body. And third, chronic stress, something endemic in American society, triggers a hormonal cascade that literally blocks your body's natural homocysteine clearing mechanisms.
how exactly does the blood flow ritual address these issues?
The ritual contains precise botanicals that activate your body's methylation pathway, your internal homocysteine neutralizing system. Think of it like unclogging a drain that's been blocked for decades. When this pathway is properly supported, your body transforms harmful homocysteine into beneficial compounds that actually strengthen your cardiovascular system. What makes this formula uniquely effective is the precise ratio of these compounds. They work synergistically to create an effect far greater than any single ingredient could achieve alone.
And everything comes from natural resources, right, Dr. Alvarez?
Absolutely. Every component is derived from plants that have been used safely for centuries. We've simply identified the optimal formulation and concentration through years of clinical testing.
Dr. Alvarez, there's one vitally important safety question I must ask while we still have you. For listeners who've been taking blood pressure medications for years, is it safe for them to try this ritual alongside their prescriptions?
Yeah, the ritual itself is completely safe and can be used alongside medications. However, and this is important, as homocysteine levels decrease, blood pressure begins normalizing naturally. Continuing the same medication dosage could potentially lower blood pressure too much.
So what should people do?
Monitor your blood pressure daily and work with your healthcare provider. Many of our study participants were able to reduce or eliminate their medications entirely under proper supervision. I've seen countless patients transition completely off medications within 2 to 3 months, much to their doctor's amazement.
That's exactly what happened with Janice. Her doctor couldn't believe it when he saw her numbers. He actually accused us of making them up at first.
I apologize, the storm is directly overhead now. Before I lose connection, let me close with one final message. I want everyone listening to understand this. You are not destined to a lifetime of dangerous blood pressure, stubborn weight gain, and pharmaceutical dependence. Your body has an incredible natural capacity to heal itself when given the proper tools. The blood flow ritual isn't just another treatment. It's your path to genuine freedom. Freedom from medications, from side effects, from constant health anxiety, from feeling trapped in your own body.
Wow, that's a powerful message.
I've risked everything to bring this information to light because I've seen it transform thousands of lives. John and Janice's story is just one example of what's possible for everyone listening right now. I must go now, but I hope...
Oh, it seems we've lost the connection with Dr. Alvarez.
Yeah, but What an extraordinary opportunity to hear directly from one of the world's leading researchers on blood pressure management.
That's Dr. Alvarez for you, passionate about helping people understand the truth, even when powerful interests try to silence him. He risked everything to be with us today.
John, having spent time with him personally, what impressed you most about Dr. Alvarez?
His absolute dedication to the truth, regardless of personal cost. When I visited his research facility, I expected something state-of-the-art. Instead, I found a modest lab in the jungle where he and a small team worked tirelessly with limited resources.
It's rare to find that level of commitment these days.
He told me something I'll never forget. He said, I had the choice between a 7-figure salary and the chance to save millions of lives. What kind of doctor would I be if I chose the money? That's the kind of man he is.
John, I know our listeners are probably sitting on the edge of their seats right now. How can they try this blood flow ritual that transformed Janice's life and potentially save their own?
Before I explain exactly how to get started, I want your listeners to hear the voices of real people whose lives have been transformed. People just like them who were prisoners of their own bodies until they discovered this ritual.
We've been flooded with messages from people across America since word about this ritual started spreading. Let's listen to a few of their stories.
Like Martha Wilson, a 70-year-old retired teacher from Houston.
I started this Costa Rican blood flow ritual just 4 weeks ago, and my blood pressure has already gone from 173 over 121 to 137 over 92. Not only that, but I've also lost an incredible 17 pounds. You know, at 70 years old, I know, I never thought that I'd feel this great again. And I can't wait to see my blood pressure go even further. I now have the energy to keep up with my grandkids, and I'm loving life. Thank you.
And there's Harold Thompson, a retired engineer from Chicago.
After watching your video and trying your Costa Rican blood flow ritual, I've lost 21 pounds and my blood pressure is normal for the first time in decades. I feel like a new man. My blood pressure went from a dangerously high 183 over 119 to a healthy 120 over 79. And I'm able to enjoy activities that I never thought I'd be able to do again, like playing golf twice a week. This has been a real lifesaver for me.
But what really caught my attention was Esther, a nurse from Miami.
Working as a nurse for many years, I believed that the medical treatment of high blood pressure was the only way to manage it. But after trying this ancient ritual for blood flow, I could not believe it. My blood pressure is down from a high of 178 over 122 to a healthy normal 118 over 78. I've also lost 28 pounds without changing my diet one bit. My doctor could not believe it. I feel like I've turned back the clock 20 years. I'm so happy I found your video.
So, John, after hearing these incredible results, I think our listeners are ready to learn more. You promised to explain how they can try this blood flow ritual for themselves. What exactly is this ritual, and how can people start doing it at home?
The ritual itself is remarkably simple, but incredibly powerful. And let me add, what surprised me the most was these villagers weren't choking it down like some bitter medicine. They actually looked forward to it. When I tried it myself, I was shocked by how delicious it was. No wonder they drank it daily. It's like a treat that just happens to save your life. All right, so the foundation is a rare type of beetroot that's grown in volcanic soil. This isn't your ordinary grocery store beetroot. It's packed with a compound called betaine that Dr. Alvarez's studies showed can drop blood pressure by 10 points on its own.
Just from beetroot.
That was the beginning. They also used a specific type of hibiscus flower. Get this. Tufts University did a study showing it lowered blood pressure 289% more than a placebo.
289%? That's incredible.
But here's what blew my mind. These ingredients weren't working the way blood pressure medications do. Instead of just forcing your blood vessels to relax, they were actually clearing out that dangerous homocysteine.
So, what other ingredients did this ritual tea contain?
The formula also has green tea. A major study with over 1,300 participants showed it drops blood pressure by 14 points while melting away belly fat. Then there's ginger root in the blend, which studies prove reduces blood pressure by 6 points and slashes heart disease risk by 13%.
Yeah, I've heard ginger is good for you, but I had no idea it was that powerful.
Most people don't. The blend also includes oolong tea. Drinking it daily for a year cut hypertension risk by 46%. Then there's chamomile, which lowers blood pressure and helps with weight loss, according to studies in the journal Pharmaceuticals. Dandelion root provides crucial potassium that counteracts sodium and relaxes blood vessels. And hawthorn berry showed a stunning 615% greater blood pressure reduction compared to placebo in diabetic patients.
That's quite a combination already.
The original blend also contained lemongrass, which has a compound called citral that releases nitric oxide, essentially opening up your arteries naturally. These 9 ingredients together were producing remarkable results for the Costa Ricans villagers.
So, John, this is where things get really interesting, right? Because you didn't just keep this discovery to yourself.
No, I couldn't after seeing what it did for Janice. But here's the thing. We couldn't get more of the original formula from Dr. Alvarez. He was deep in the Costa Rican jungle doing more research.
So what did you do?
Well, that's when Dr. Jack stepped in. He reached out to some of the top scientists and formulators he knew, and they actually found a way to make the formula even more powerful.
Wow, more powerful. How?
They added something called TMG, trimethylglycine. In clinical trials, it decreased homocysteine levels by 20% and dropped blood pressure by 15 points in just 12 weeks.
And what about weight loss?
That's the incredible part. In the same study, people lost an average of 8.76 pounds without changing anything else.
Just from adding TMG?
Right. And then they added grapeseed extract, which slashed homocysteine by another 20%, according to research in the journal Thrombosis Research. Korean red ginseng gave us a 6-point drop in blood pressure after just 12 weeks of use. Curcumin increased fat loss by an astonishing 1,104% in clinical studies with overweight patients. Cinnamon bark improved both blood pressure and cholesterol profiles in a 90-day study. And finally, they used decaffeinated green tea instead of regular to remove any stimulant effects while preserving all the benefits. Each ingredient backed by incredible research. But here's where we ran into a problem.
What happened?
Well, the manufacturer wanted to put everything into capsules, but all the testing showed we'd lose potency that way. The ingredients needed to be in tea form, just like the original Costa Rican ritual.
So that's how Cardio Slim Tea was born.
That's exactly right. We found a master tea maker who could blend all 15 ingredients perfectly, and the results were truly amazing.
All right, now to the good stuff. Let's hear from some people who've experienced Cardio Slim Tea for themselves.
Certainly. Let me play you a few messages we've received.
I was on 3 different blood pressure medications, and my doctor warned me that a heart attack or stroke could happen at any moment if I didn't get my numbers under control. I felt like a ticking time bomb. But after just a few weeks of drinking this tea, my blood pressure readings were, get this, 120/80. Perfect. I lost 29 pounds without even trying, and I feel like I've gotten my life back.
That's Jackie from Phoenix.
Yes, and her story really touched me because she was in the same situation as Janice, living in constant fear of a heart attack or stroke.
I had struggled with weight and high blood pressure my whole life, as long as I can remember. I thought I was doomed to a life of medications and yo-yo dieting. But this tea changed everything. In just a month, my blood pressure went from 180/110 to 135/85. I lost 17 pounds. My doctor was amazed. He said I added years to my life. I feel like a new person.
Wow. From medications to a whole new life.
And here's another powerful story.
I've tried everything to get my weight under control, but nothing ever worked. I was on 4 different blood pressure medications, and it seemed like every time I went to the doctor, he added more. But now, after using this tea daily, my blood pressure is down to 132/90 from an average of 176/120. And I lost 24 pounds. My doctor actually lowered my medications and said, if I keep this up, I should be off of all of them by my next checkup. Thank you.
Wow, these results are incredible.
And listen to this one.
Cardio Slim Tea is the real deal, honey. I used to huff and puff just going up the stairs at work. But now I'm running circles around the young folks. My blood pressure's down. I've lost 3 dress sizes, and my skin is glowing like I'm fresh out of high school.
I love her energy.
That's Letitia from Atlanta. And what's really fascinating, we tested her homocysteine levels before and after.
What did you find?
Her levels dropped from 52 down to 8 in just weeks. That's why she's seeing benefits beyond just blood pressure and weight loss. Once we get those homocysteine levels down, everything changes. Energy, skin, mood, weight.
And this happened for all of them?
Every single one. Jackie's levels went from 47 to 7, Terry's from 55 to 9, Sarah's from 49 to 8. When you flush out that dangerous homocysteine, your body just works again.
These transformations go way beyond just numbers on a blood pressure monitor.
That's right. People tell me they're sleeping better, they have more energy, their skin looks younger.
It seems to affect the whole body.
Exactly. And we've now helped over 96,479 people.
You know, John, you're sharing all these amazing stories, but what about you personally? Did you ever try Cardio Slim Tea yourself?
Actually, I did. You see, after watching what happened with Janice, I decided to check my own blood pressure. I was shocked to find it was 164/106.
Oh, that's pretty high.
Exactly. Being in the life insurance business, I knew those numbers were dangerous. So I started drinking the tea myself. And just like Janice, my numbers started dropping.
So how much did they drop?
From that scary high of 164/106 down to a very healthy 119/79. But here's what really amazed me. I lost an incredible 34 pounds and 4 inches off my waist.
Wait, without changing your diet?
Without changing a thing. And that's when I knew we had to share this with the world.
John, I know a lot of our listeners are probably wondering right now, how can they try Cardio Slim Tea for themselves?
Well, first I should mention something important. We're having trouble keeping up with demand.
Oh, why is that?
2 critical reasons. First, these ingredients, especially the rare herbs from Costa Rica, only grow during a specific 6-week harvest window. The recent Category 4 hurricane that hit the Nicoya Peninsula destroyed 73% of this year's crop. What we have now is literally all that exists in the world until next season.
Wow. And the second reason?
The pharmaceutical companies. Last Thursday, we discovered they're deploying procurement agents to buy up the remaining global supply of these ingredients at any cost. One of our suppliers was offered 11 times the market price for their entire inventory yesterday.
What? Why would they do that?
Think about it. Their $131 billion blood pressure drug empire is built on people staying sick and dependent. Every person who discovers this ritual is one less lifetime customer for them. They're in panic mode right now.
So what does that mean for our listeners?
Well, right now we have a limited supply available. My accountant actually suggested we sell it for $149 per month, which is still cheaper than most blood pressure medications.
But that's not what you're going to sell it for?
No way. Look, I remember what it was like watching Janice struggle, the fear, the frustration. I want this to be accessible to everyone.
So what are you offering for our listeners today?
Here's the thing, and this is really important. When we studied the results from over 96,000 people, we noticed something crucial. The real transformation happens between days 36 and 50.
Interesting. What do you mean?
Well, in the first month, your homocysteine levels start dropping and you begin seeing improvements. But it's during that second month when something remarkable happens. Your body starts to heal itself.
And that's when people see the biggest changes?
Exactly. Not just in blood pressure, but in weight loss, energy levels, sleep quality, everything. That's why we're only offering Cardio Slim Tea in minimum 2-month packages. I want to make sure everyone gets the full benefits.
So, what's the investment for a 2-month supply?
For a limited time, while supplies last, listeners can get a 2-month supply of Cardio Slim Tea for just $79 per month. That's less than your morning coffee.
And it comes with that 60-day guarantee?
Absolutely. In fact, that's why we designed it this way. Try Cardio Slim Tea for the full 60 days. That's enough time to experience the complete transformation. If you don't see the results I promised, if your blood pressure doesn't drop, if your weight doesn't come off, you get every penny back. No questions asked.
So 2 months is the minimum, but what are you seeing with people who stay with it longer?
Well, based on our research and Dr. Alvarez's studies, the results just keep getting better over time. That's why we recommended the 6-month package. Look at those 90-year-olds in Costa Rica. They've been doing this ritual their whole lives, and they have the blood pressure of 20-year-olds. The longer you take it, the better it works.
And you're offering a special deal on that 6-month package.
Exactly. That's why we're offering a special deal on our 6-month supply package. That way people can get the full benefits like Janice did.
And you're including some special bonuses with these packages.
Yes, and these bonuses are incredible. With our 2-month starter package at $79 per pouch, you get our 57 blood pressure breakthroughs guide.
What's in that guide?
We interviewed 57 real people who got their blood pressure down to a perfect 120/80 using Cardio Slim Tea. Each shares their complete journey with before and after photos, plus their exact tips and tricks. One lady even shares how she modified her tea routine to lose 43 pounds in just 6 weeks.
Wow. And for the 6-month package?
Well, that's where it gets really exciting. At just $49 per pouch with free shipping, you get 2 additional life-changing bonuses from Dr. Alvarez himself.
Dr. Alvarez created special bonuses?
Yes. First, you get his brand new anti-aging blueprint. This is incredible. He reveals the exact secrets that those 90-year-olds in Costa Rica use to stay young and vibrant.
The ones who look 20 years younger?
Exactly. He shares their top youth-enhancing foods, herbs, teas, and spices that literally reverse aging. People using these secrets tell us their hair, skin, and joints feel like they did 10, 20 years ago.
And the second bonus?
This one's my favorite. The Fat Loss Desserts Cookbook and Videos. Dr. Alvarez worked with a 5-star chef named Emily to create over 35 delicious dessert recipes that actually help you lose weight.
Desserts that help you lose weight?
Hard to believe, right? But every recipe is at least 45% protein, loaded with nutrients, and contains 0 sugar or unhealthy fats. They're even safe for diabetics. Plus, they're designed to work synergistically with Cardio Slim Tea to accelerate your results.
Well, that's quite a package.
These bonuses alone are worth hundreds of dollars, but they're all included free with the 6-month package because I want to give people everything they need to transform their health, just like Janice did.
But there's a catch, isn't there, John?
Yes, and I need to be completely transparent about something. We can only manufacture 2,500 units of Cardio Slim Tea per month.
Why such a limited number?
2 major constraints. First, these rare Costa Rican herbs only grow in one specific microclimate in the Nicoya Peninsula. Last harvest, we could only secure enough for 30,000 units total.
And the second constraint?
Our master tea maker. The blending process is incredibly precise. The ingredients have to be combined in exact ratios at specific temperatures. One small mistake and the whole batch is useless.
So what does this mean for our listeners?
Right now, we have exactly 2,147 pouches remaining from our last production run, and we're averaging 300 to 400 orders per day.
Wait, so that's less than a week's supply left?
Exactly. And here's the really concerning part. Our next batch of herbs won't arrive for at least 8 weeks. The recent political situation in Costa Rica has made sourcing even more difficult.
And once these remaining pouches are gone?
That's it. And with Big Pharma now trying to buy up the entire Costa Rican supply, honestly, I don't know if we'll be able to make Cardio Slim Tea much longer.
John, you've mentioned Big Pharma a few times now. What exactly are they doing to try to stop this?
Look, I probably shouldn't share this, but our listeners need to know. 3 weeks ago, we received a cease and desist letter from one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world.
No way. What did it say?
They claim we're making unsubstantiated medical claims. But here's what's really happening. Their blood pressure drug sales have dropped 23% in areas where people are using Cardio Slim Tea.
Wow, that's millions in lost revenue for them.
Exactly. Then last week, we discovered they'd sent undercover buyers to attempt to purchase our entire Costa Rican herb supply, offering 11 times the market price.
Just to keep it away from you.
Yes, and it gets worse. Dr. Alvarez just contacted me. He's been served with a $40 million lawsuit. They're trying to bankrupt him, just like they did to Dr. Patterson when he exposed the truth about diabetes drugs last year.
So they're coming at you from all angles.
Listen, I don't say this to scare people, but I have to be honest. I don't know how much longer we can keep fighting them. That's why it's so important for anyone listening right now to secure their supply while they still can.
All right, so back to the packages. What kind of discounts are we talking about?
The 6-month package comes down to just $49 per pouch. Plus, we're including free shipping.
Well, that's a significant savings.
It is. And look, I know some people might be skeptical. I was too at first. That's why we back every order with our ironclad 60-day guarantee.
Tell our listeners more about that.
Simple. Try Cardio Slim Tea for a full 60 days. If you don't see your blood pressure numbers plummet, if you don't watch the pounds melt away, if you're not 100% thrilled with your results, just let us know and we'll refund every penny.
Every penny? No questions asked?
None. You don't even need to send the tea back. That's how confident we are this will work for you.
John, some of our listeners might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'll try it next month when I have more time.
That's exactly what I thought when Janice was first diagnosed with high blood pressure. We'll get serious about it next month. That was 3 years before her heart attack.
So you think waiting is dangerous?
I know it is. Dr. Alvarez's research showed that every single day with elevated homocysteine causes approximately 14,000 new micro tears in your arterial walls. That's 14,000 more places for dangerous plaque to form.
That adds up quickly.
In just 30 days of waiting, that's 420,000 new injuries to your arteries. Many of these never fully heal. The damage compounds daily. That's why Dr. Alvarez says the most expensive decision you can make with your health is delay.
And where can our listeners get Cardio Slim Tea?
You won't find it in stores or on Amazon. It's only available through our secure website. Just click the button below or visit our website, trycardioslim.com.
And you mentioned supplies are limited?
Yes, and I have to be honest. With the pharmaceutical companies trying to shut us down, I don't know how long we'll be able to keep offering this.
John, before we wrap up, I think it's important to be really clear with our listeners about what's at stake here.
You're right. Look, I've been in the life insurance business for 30 years. I've seen the statistics. Every 43 seconds, someone in America has a heart attack.
And high blood pressure is often the cause?
It's the number one risk factor. But here's what keeps me up at night. Thinking about all the people out there, just like Janice was, taking dangerous medications that aren't fixing the real problem.
That homocysteine buildup.
Exactly. And every day they wait, that homocysteine is damaging their arteries, forcing their blood pressure higher, making it impossible to lose weight.
Yeah, it's like being trapped in your own body.
That's exactly what Janice used to say. And now imagine waking up every morning and seeing those perfect 120/80 readings. Imagine watching the pounds melt away week after week. Imagine having the energy to play with your grandkids again.
That's what happened for Martha, Harold, and Esther.
And over 96,000 others. But you have to take action. Remember, we've got big pharma breathing down our necks. They've already forced Dr. Alvarez into hiding.
So what should our listeners do right now?
Click the button below right now. Choose the 6-month package while we still have stock. Remember, you're protected by our 60-day guarantee. If it doesn't work exactly like I've said, you get every penny back.
And John, for anyone who might still be on the fence.
Listen, I understand if you're skeptical. I was too. But let me ask you something. What's the cost of not trying this?
What do you mean by that, John?
Well, the average person spends over $2,791 per year just managing their blood pressure. Doctor's visits, medications, tests. But what's the real cost? That's measured in moments lost.
Lost moments?
Missing your grandchild's baseball game because you're too tired, saying no to family vacations because you're embarrassed about your weight, living in constant fear that today might be the day your heart gives out.
Yeah, like what almost happened to Janice.
Exactly. You know what Janice told me recently? She said her biggest regret wasn't the heart attack. It was all the years before it. Years spent feeling trapped in her own body, missing out on life.
But she got a second chance.
Yes, and that's what I want for everyone listening right now. A second chance to take control of their health, to feel what it's like to have perfect blood pressure, to finally lose that stubborn weight, to live without fear.
And they can start today for just $49 per month with the 6-month package.
Yes, but they need to act fast. We're down to our last batch of the special Costa Rican herbs. Once they're gone, there's not much we can do at that point.
And remember, there is zero risk with the 60-day guarantee.
John, I notice you're getting a little emotional.
Yes, sorry. It's just when you've been where I've been, sitting in that hospital room, thinking you're about to lose your wife, and then to discover there was a solution all along.
A solution the drug companies don't want you to know about.
Right. And that's why I'm here today. Not to sell tea, but because I made a promise that I wouldn't let another family go through what we did.
And for our listeners right now, there are really only 2 paths forward, aren't there?
Exactly. Path 1 is doing nothing, keeping the same routine, taking the same medications, hoping things somehow get better.
But they rarely do, right?
Almost never. Those blood pressure numbers keep creeping up. The weight keeps piling on until one day,
Like what happened with Janice.
Yes. Or there's path 2, taking action today. Trying Cardio Slim Tea risk-free for 60 days. Within days, you'll feel the difference as those razor blades start leaving your bloodstream. By week 2, you'll notice your clothes fitting differently as the weight begins melting away. Your energy will surge. You'll start sleeping through the night again. By month 2, you'll see your blood pressure finally drop to that perfect 120/80, maybe even lower. The weight will continue disappearing, especially around your waist. You'll see the person you remembered in the mirror again. Your doctor will be stunned at your transformation, possibly even reducing or eliminating your medications. Your family will notice the smile that's returned to your face.
And all you need to do is click below or visit trycardioslim.com.
Yes, choose the 6-month package while we still have stock. Remember, you're fully protected by our 60-day guarantee. If you don't see the results I've promised, if your blood pressure doesn't drop, if the weight doesn't come off, you get every penny back.
John, any final words for our listeners?
Yes. A year ago, I was sitting in a hospital room, holding my wife's hand, praying she'd survive the night. I know there are people listening right now who are living with that same fear.
The fear that their blood pressure could turn deadly at any moment.
And others who are frustrated, feeling betrayed by their own bodies, wondering why they can't lose weight no matter what they try. I want you to know it's not your fault. It's that homocysteine building up in your blood.
But they can change that today.
Yes, Cardio Slim Tea is your chance to write a different ending to your story, just like Janice did, just like Martha, Harold, and Esther did, and over 96,000 others.
The website again is trycardioslim.com, or you can just click below and you'll be on your way.
And I highly suggest you choose the 6-month supply, not just because it's the best value, but because I want you to experience the full transformation, just like those 90-year-olds in Costa Rica who've been doing this ritual their whole lives.
And remember, there's zero risk with the 60-day guarantee.
That's right. Try Cardio Slim Tea for a full 60 days. If you don't love your results, just let us know and you'll get a complete refund. No questions asked.
Well, there you have it, listeners. An incredible discovery that could change your life.
But remember what John said. Supplies are limited, and with Big Pharma trying to shut this down.
Please don't wait. Click below or visit trycardioslim.com now while we still have stock. Don't let this chance slip away.
And if you're still listening, still wondering if this could work for you,
let me share something that just came across my desk this morning.
I'm now able to take long walks in the park with my grandkids without getting winded. I feel like I'm finally able to live my life to the fullest. And it's all thanks to this incredible tea.
I'm back to playing 18 holes twice a week with my buddies. My wife is amazed at how much more energy I have around the house, too. And I feel like a whole new man.
My coworker keep asking me what is my secret, and I'm proud to tell them about this amazing tea.
John Hall, thank you for sharing your story with us today.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us on another episode of Health Uncovered. Until next time.
This has been Health Uncovered. For show notes and resources mentioned in today's episode, click the button below or visit trycardioslim.com.